Daily Stock Studs and Gentlemen, we are back again with another Dreaming Memories Explained, and this is episode 1, also titled Day 1. And in this episode, I'm going to be honest, it was very fast and loose. We were just introduced to the characters with subtle nods to what they can do, and overall I believe that was done so that it could seem more genuine in the experience of finding out who these people are and what they do, rather than it just be told to us in some dramatic way. And you'll see what I mean as the chapter goes along. So we kick off with the Queen of New Eden, the main character's mother, and she's being told that something took place in town was making her really unhappy because the center of the conflict had to do with her son Jenova. We then get a look at the king, which is he's a lot more laid back than the queen. You can tell from the conversation where the king is expressing that maybe we should ask our son what happened. It might be more to it than what we're being told. Which, in this instance, they're being told he was in a fight down in town where he completely leveled a civilian. And from the current story, is being told that Jenova did this for no reason. Now, the story transitions over to Jenova, who's laying on a field with a cat next to him, and he's laying outside the kingdom right now. He tells the cat at this point, do you want to see a trick? Where he pulls a diamond out of his pocket. He starts to pull energy into it, and then the diamond completely shatters. This is because Jenova has the ability to charge and detonate any type of energy within his eyesight. Now, after this, he turns to the cat and explains to him that this might be his last trick, because once his mom catches him, she's going to kill him for what he done. Once again, applying to whatever the conflict was that took place in town. And at this moment, this is where we get to meet a new character, Icon. As Jenova turns around, he says, "You sent me." He turns to see his brother walking through a purple portal, who seems a little annoyed and first seems like, hey, how you doing? But he tells Jenova to explain to him what happened, because he's in some deep shit, and you know what I mean. So when he first sees Icon's a little like upset because his parents had sent him to come pick him up, because he has the power to transport through portals, and he can pretty much go anywhere he wants. But as they're discussing what happened, Jenova tells Icon he doesn't want to tell him what happened because he feels as though Icon is going to laugh at him. And this catches Icon off guard when he says this, because he's like, well, you're in deep trouble. What could be funny about this? Like, what could have happened? So this is the part where Jenova starts to explain 2 hours ago, while he was walking in town, he happened to see a cat running for his life down an alley with a man with red hair chasing him with a pipe. And he didn't know what was going on at first, but he assumed the man was, chasing his cat and got loose, so he assumed that he would help the man out. Upon arriving to the alley, he see things were not as it seemed. This man was not trying to get his long lost cat. He was actually trying to harm this animal. So Jenova, like animals, this is where things get quick and easy to explain things that Jenova can do without really overshooting it. The first thing that we notice is Jenova is really fast. At this point, he's standing at the end of the alley when he goes to ask the guy about the cat, but when he goes in to rub him, he instantly appears in front of the cat, which catches the guy off guard because he'd never seen Jenova move. So at first, the guy's just thinking, look, I'm a little on, maybe I'm tripping. I don't know how boy move that fast, but once he makes a threat towards Jenova and the cat, stating that the cat's going to get it basically, and things are going to happen to him, and things might happen to Jenova too if he don't leave, Jenova's eyes go from red to a silver with a flame. And at this point, before the guy can react, he's immediately feeling a direct, excruciating pain in his stomach. He can't know what it is, he can't figure out what's going on, but his eyes is bulging, his mouth is bleeding, and then he looks, and Jenova is standing next to him with his fist in his stomach. Once again, he moved too fast for the guy to register what exactly took place. He couldn't understand it either because he was standing right in front of him. So after this hit's delivered, Jenova tells him, while looking down on him, he hates people like him, people that just prey on the weak. He then takes the cat with him and decides to, leave. At the time, I don't think he really was thinking of the consequence of his actions, but once he tells Icon this, immediately Icon starts laughing. Given the fact that Icon truly believes that it was a good thing that his brother wanted to help a cat, but he knows that pissing off their mom is far greater threat than anything that cat would have faced that day. So he also tells him that he should go talk to dad and maybe he can smooth things over. I want to take a second to highlight this part because in this exchange we learn a few things. One, we learn that Jenova is somehow really fast and faster than the eye can see. We also learn that his brother can open up portals to anywhere. We also learn another thing about the king and the queen in this instance. When Icon says, let's talk to dad and see if he can smooth it over, we find out right then and there that the king's a way more laid back probably than the mom. So the two brothers also seem to have a good relationship with each other, and with Icon being the older one, he simply wants to get his brother out of this mess. So we're going to go back to the story, and now because at this point we pick up with Nikki. And Nikki is a character that is shown to be a girl. She obviously is very powerful. She's actually referred to as the strongest woman in the world. But she walks around with this kind of like chip on her shoulder because whatever she does, she feels like her father never notices it. And no matter how much she outdoes everybody, her dad's still on her case, who we later find out is a character named Major Corsi. Now, at this moment, a character named Sanai walks in with pink hair. Sanai jokingly tells Nikki that I heard from the mainlands and he secretly hates her because she's keeping him from completing his mission of getting all the snacks just to make Nikki laugh, and it works. Sanai is the lighthearted one in the group, one always busting jokes, trying to make light glass half full type person. And when she comes to Nikki, she asks for her help, and when Nikki asks her why do she need her and not can't ask her sister Namaya, Sanai tells her she doesn't want to bother her because she's getting ready for her final exam. And this is when we switch to Namaya, one of the coolest characters in the series. Namaya is a mystic, which that means in their world is a witch and that can do all forms of magic. And the exam she's preparing for is called the Hand of the Queen exam, which in this case, the Hand of the Queen is basically the most powerful mystic there is in the Wheaton, and she acts as the Queen's right hand. Now, in this moment, Namaya wants to show her mother that she's powerful enough and has what it takes to, become the queen, the next Hand of the Queen, whenever her mother decides to step down due to her old age. But at this point in her life, Namaya is like the star student. There is almost no spell she don't know. There's almost no incantation that she can't perform. So she goes to pull out this book that she's been working on called Wrath of Nature. And it's to summon each one of the elements in her hand and attack at one time. Now, when her mother sees it, she's completely blown away. But she doesn't show this to Namaya because she feels as though Namaya is a little big-headed, a little arrogant, and she doesn't want to tell her, like, yeah, you are probably the strongest mystic there ever was, because she don't think her daughter would work hard after hearing some news like that. So she's always a little like, you did good, but work harder type. What she tells her, like, is more about the wisdom of how you use your power, not what power you have. Anybody can be strong, but if you're an idiot, you can't use that strength correctly. And the Hand of the Queen must always be able to do that. They always got to make the hard decisions. They always got to know what to do. So this makes Namaya go out, and she's feeling a little down because she feels like, well, man, she feels like, Nikki, why is this woman always on my back? Parents being parents. That's just how it goes. That's just parent like that. But at this moment, Jenova shows up to cheer her up, and we find out that they're a couple. And they're both having a bad day. She asks him about the event that took place in town, and he tells her, he already talked to his mom, and things are cool. And so at this moment, he goes over and tells her what happened, because at this moment, everybody's still laughing, because Icon already told everybody what happened and why he did it. So from there, we transition back to Nikki and Sanai is once again asking Nikki for help to set something up for them. So Nikki tells her she'll help her, but only under one condition, which is that Icon has to help too, because then he can portal them everywhere. She refuses to, walk here to there when they got a guy that can send them a portal anywhere. And during this exchange, we find out something about Nikki. Nikki is actually physically the strongest woman in the world, important to everybody on Wheaton. And why that is, we'll find out later on down the line, why she has such inherent strength. But like Jenova, she is a demon, which is a divine man, not what most people would call. And we'll find out more about that later. But for right now, we're going to go into once Jenova got home, and he's telling Nehemiah that when he got there, they tried to sneak in, but the mom already was on it. She was in his room when he popped up. He basically, had to explain to her, like, look, man, I had to rock bull because of what he did. So once he tells her the story, we transition over to Icon, also finding out Icon is also with Nikki and Sinai, and he, at the same time where Jenova is telling Nehemiah the story, Icon is also telling Nikki the story. And they both are like at this place where they feel like Jenova is probably in a bootload of trouble. Like, they know how the queen is, but he explains to him that the queen basically exclaims that once she hear what it was about, that she's kind of proud of him. She's kind of happy that her son has that big of a heart, but she's still going to punish him because it is what it is, parents being parents. So his punishment is, though, which is ironic, she says, since you care so much about the things going on, you have to sit in on the daily reports where her and the king have to hear all the problems that are going on in their surrounding area, and now he has to sit in this meeting early in the morning every day. That is now one of his duties. At this moment, Nehemiah laughs when he tells her he also kept the cat and he named it Juby. And the mom also told him since he saved the cat was also his responsibility, so now he has to take care of it. Which, that's pretty much it for this. At that, they joke about the situation. They show, give us signs that they're very close and affectionate. But here and here, the story pretty wraps up with that, where the next day, a lot more pops off once Jenova starts going to the daily report. And we leave off with knowing a few things. One, Jenova has a big heart. Two, Nehemiah is very powerful and they're a couple. Also, that Icon and Nikki have somewhat of a friendship as well. This will all play a part in the next episode where things pop off a lot better, and things can actually kick off now that you understand who the people are and what they do. But with that being said, thugs and gentlemen, we are done, and I want to thank you for watching. I want you to like, share, comment. Even if you got something negative to say, let me hear it. It might help out. And until then, do you, because that's the only way to do it. See you next time. We out.